Good Friday afternoon, kids. I'm going to help you finish this assignment, and we're going to go over this on Monday as well. I'm going to try to explain to you the most basic but the most essential component of understanding how economies work, how a free economy works, at least, like ours. All right. And it's what you see here is this supply and the demand curve. The demand curve you'll see in red, that represents the demand of consumers like you and me. What do we demand from the market? What do we demand in terms of cars or iPhones or Yeezys? All right. What do we want? That's what we want. The supply curve in blue is what suppliers supply, what manufacturers supply. And so it's how many Yeezys are produced, how many iPhones are produced, how much wheat is produced. And then where those two lines cross then is called the equilibrium price right in there. And that equilibrium price then determines the optimal price and quantity to be produced for the market to be stable, to be in equilibrium, which I think is a science term. You're welcome, Miss Sanchez. All right, so we also have to understand that these curves move. As people want more of something, as the demand for a product goes up, the demand curve shifts, and that means it goes that way. So we're going to shift this curve out this way. That means an increase in demand. If there's a decrease in demand, it goes that way. And the same goes for supply. For supply, if an iPhone, they want to push more iPhones into the market, they're going to push it out this way. That means more. More is that way. If they're going to take iPhones out of the market, they're going to go this way. Less is this way. All right, so undo, undo. Let's take a look at what happened in the 1930s with wheat prices. So the demand and the supply curve in the 20s, the 1920s, set the equilibrium price here. Okay, and so with that, we see what the price will be. If we just draw our little line over here, beep, beep, boop, 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 beep, beep, boop, 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 we have a red P. So I don't know what P is. It doesn't really matter what P is, but this is what P is, all right? Where supply and demand cross is where the price and really the quantity are set. Now, what happened in the 1930s? Well, first, the suppliers supplied more. And so those wheat manufacturers made a ton of wheat, a bushel of wheat. And the supply curve then shifted out like you see it happening right here. More is that way. All right. So they shifted the whole curve moves out. It's a math thing. The whole curve moves out. But what we want to track is where is the new equilibrium point? And you'll see we went from here and now the two lines crossed here. Now, okay, now the point is then what does that do to price? It pushes the price out here. So now we have a new price point, and that blue P is less than the red P. So you can see the price went down. The price went from red P to blue P when the farmers pushed out more supply. Now, what really killed the economy, especially the farming economy in the 30s, was that demand, because of the Great Depression, went this way. People couldn't afford to buy as much food, literally as much food as they wanted to. So demand also shifted towards the left. All right. And you'll see the demand curve shifts. And once again, we have a third equilibrium point. Let's go with the color green. All right. So here is our new equilibrium point. And those of you who are paying attention at home have already noticed that the price is now, if I drag it over here to the y-axis, I have a third P. So now with an increase, here's where we were with the 1920s. They increased supply, and so the cost went down. At the same time, there is a decrease in demand, further shifting the curve, all right, and further driving down the price. So eventually you can see this wheat was worth very little because of bad decisions, which was making more wheat, and because of things that were out of the farmer's control, which was the demand thanks to the Great Depression. So what you're going to do on this assignment is you are going to use your little mousy mouse and click on the supply curve and shift it out. You're going to shift, then you're going to grab onto the demand curve and shift it in. Out means more. They increase supply, so we went this way. We decreased demand, so we went that way. And then I want you to articulate in a complete sentence using these fingers and the keys exactly what happened to the equilibrium price. So you'll say something along the lines of, in the 1930s, farmers increased supply, but consumers demanded less wheat. And so the price of wheat went, and then you're going to finish that. All right, you can now take this into high school, and this is in college. This is Econ 101 in college. This is a basic understanding, but an essential understanding of how free markets, like America's, how free markets work. Good luck.